cyclists and trail walkers celebrating potential improvements to the Redbud Trail.
12 News reporter Brock Wilson spoke to a local bike shop about what the upgrades would mean to the cycling community.
It's just a complete game changer.
That's the reaction from Wichita Bike Exchange sales manager Patrick Skanga, knowing the Redbud Trail could soon be expanded.
Going out further and seeing other things is quite nice. With the expansion and the overall goal of being 30, 40, 50 miles.
These changes would connect about 3 miles of trail, making it continuous from downtown Wichita to Andover. Improvements to the Redbud Trail would start right here at Woodlawn Avenue and run east to K96. Some of the upgrades include improving the pedestrian crossing here at Woodlawn and at Webb and Greenwich, and adding an overpass at Rock Road. The Wichita City Council is expected to approve the design concept for those upgrades at Tuesday's meeting. Skanga says he can't wait.
Getting more cyclists out is a great thing. Cycling is a great way to exercise, decompress, and did I mention it's fun?
In Wichita, Brock Wilson, 12 News.
Approves the design concept. Construction would start in 2025. The city hasn't said how much money the improvements will cost.